There are a lot of possibilities how you can create a NAS at home. But what I want to try out is how possible it is to create a NAS on a ZimaBlade. Now, I have watched several YouTube tutorials, and they all kind of were not in the way that I want to create it. They were mostly using two drives. In my case, I'll be testing out this on the SSD drives. They were using to put files on one drive, and overnight the synchronization happens to the second drive. Now, I think that's a bit wrong, because if, let's assume, now I put files on this drive and it dies till the synchronization has happened to the second drive, all my data during the day, my hard work, everything is lost. So in my opinion, we need to create a proper RAID NAS solution on a ZimaBlade. So stick around to find out if it is possible actually to create a proper RAID solution on the NAS, on the ZimaBlade, with the RAID 1. Why RAID 1? Because the ZimaBlade only has two SATA ports. Of course, in the future, I want to try to get an extension card. Maybe I can extend the disk quantity to 5 or 6 and have a RAID 5 or something better than RAID 1. So this video will be divided in chapters. Hope you will watch till the end. Thank you, and let's go. If you want to see my ZimaBlade unboxing, then you should click here or where it will pop out. Also, the unboxing, also the reinstall video also is up here or here. So once we have reinstalled or you have put out of the box the ZimaBlade, connected it, it offers you to create a username. And of course password. I suggest to use password at least minimum 14 characters long. Use digits, capitals, small letters, and special symbols in the mixed format. As your password will be more complex, then the harder it will be to crack the password. So let's create our account. And once we have created the account, we can go in and check for the updates. As you can see, my ZimaBlade has an available update. So I'll update it to the latest version, the CasaOS, which is running on ZimaBlade, and I will get back to you once the update is done. But if, for example, you need to reinstall it, then don't forget that videos are up here and you can watch them. Of course, hang out with me in those videos as well. So once we are logged in, I recommend you to change the password for your CasaOS user and also for your root user. Before we change the password, let's log in as root by executing sudo su. It can ask you for the password. When it asks you for the password, it's the same as you have your login user CasaOS. So once you are in, change your default password. Let's say root for the root user, and for the CasaOS user, CasaOS. It will ask you 2 times to type in the password once you execute this command, and I suggest to use different passwords for the root user and for the CasaOS user for more secure way. Once we have changed the password, I will not be changing it in this video, but we need to update our repositories, the latest, and install MDADM. And let's add to auto accept it to be installed. MDADM is needed to create RAID software. That's additional, like on Linux software, which allows us to create a proper RAID solution. The thing that I found out when I was experimenting with creating RAID already on ZimaBlade was that it doesn't automatically start when you reboot your system, even when you enable it like we usually do in the Linux. After some investigation and triggering, I found out that we need to do some additional changes for it to automatically start. What will happen if you will not do this? It will forget that you have your RAID after reboot, and everything can be lost as well. To fix the issue, let's firstly kill any session, because for some reason it automatically creates some sessions as well. As you can see, it found one session, it's killed. Now let's restart our, not the scary demons, but daemon. Reload, and let's edit the MDADM service by executing the following command. All these commands will be listed down in the description and also in my X articles page and in Medium as well. So the Medium, link to Medium and to X articles also will be down in the description. And what we need to do is add this command for it, description, so that the sessions doesn't get confused. And once we have added the command, let's now reload our daemon again. And now we can enable our MDMD. Enable MDADM. As you can see, now if we will also start it, it starts without any issues. And it will also, once you restart your ZimaBlade, it automatically will start with this system. Now, once we have our MDADM running, we can check for our disks by executing fdisk-l. And as you can see, I have two disks, 223.57 gigabytes. Those two both drives I will be creating into RAID. Since I will not format my disks, I just will wipe them by executing the following command. With this command, basically everything that is on your drives are completely wiped, including the partitions. After wiping our disks, if we execute fdisk-l-l again, you can see that our disks both doesn't have any partitions. They are completely empty, clean disks that can be used for creating our RAID. So to create the RAID, let's create a RAID with name MD0. It will have level 1, including two devices. So basically, they will be synchronized all the time on any change straight away. And if one of the disks dies, that's the level 1, the second disk will continue to work and provide us the full access and service to our files. That means that once the disk is dead, you can replace the dead disk with a new disk and you have the RAID again with two disks. The possibility for two disks to die at the same time is minimum. Then you need some power outage or strong power voltage to be injected to your ZimaBlade and to your drives from the ZimaBlade. That possibility is very low. So since ZimaBlade comes with only two SATA slots, then basically we will create on the two disks. So it now informs us that it will delete everything. Let's approve it. And it's now started to create our RAID. Basically, we cannot do anything until the RAID is complete. We can only exit the following command to check on the process. As you can see, it shows me that my process will take around 18.8 minutes. So while we wait, I will quickly forward it to the place where it will finish. RAID 1 array is ready, and we can just now create our partition by executing one simple command. Again, it will warn us that it will delete everything, so, well, okay, but delete everything that we don't have, nothing to delete. This will be pretty quick, but if you have a larger size disk drives, then it could take a bit longer to actually finish it. So once it's done, we need now to create a folder where we're going to mount our newly created RAID 1 solution. Basically, we will mount it inside the CD data folder. The data folder, we'll create a folder inside there. The data folder is the CasaOS build default folder, which ZimaBlade is connected to for the web interface. So let's make a new folder, mh there, and let's call the folder NAS, just NAS. Now let's go to our Casa local. Again, we need to log in. And once we are in, let's go to the files. And as you can see, there is our newly created NAS folder. Now we need to pair it. The CasaOS with the ZimaBlade, they have already pre-installed Samba server. So it's much smoother to share the folder. Just click share. Here are how we can connect to it, to the folder. Now let's go back to our terminal. The thing is that the CasaOS, once we share the folder, it automatically creates a custom configuration file. By default, the share is unprotected. It doesn't have any username or password verification. Therefore, anybody who connects to your network, let's say some guests come to your apartment, house, or office, and they connect to the same network, they can access the share, the files, they can read them, delete them, execute, upload, and etc. But we don't want that. So we are going to do some custom configuration to have this all protected under the username and password so that third parties cannot access our files and do some bad stuff to it. So to get started, we need to create a new user. I suggest to not use the same username as you're using for CasaOS login, otherwise you will break your CasaOS system a bit. So let's add a new user. Mine will be Walter NAS. And again, secure password, 14 characters I recommend. Use capital, small letters, digits, special symbols, mix them together. Here you just click enter, approve everything. Now let's create our Samba user. And again, it will ask you to create a password. And now our Samba user is created. I will apply now the following command, chown minus capital R, Walter's NAS root to the data NAS folder, as that is the permissions that we need to access our NAS with our username and do everything we want inside that folder. Of course, we have added the root group. Is it secure? I would say no, 100% not secure, but we needed to add it because otherwise the web interface will not be able to access the NAS folder and you will be not able to do anything using the CasaOS web interface. They have that kind of configuration. So once we have done that, we can now go to our Samba custom configuration and do the edits as needed. So let's go to nano etc smb Samba. And here we have smb casa.conf. Now, bear in mind one thing. If you're using the web interface, we'll do some changes, unshare the folder or add some additional folders to the share. This configuration will be overwritten by the CasaOS. So keep a backup of what we are going to change for the future. And of course, edit it as needed accordingly to your changes. If you want, you can also create a groups who can access the NAS. You can edit the permissions in which folders what group or which user can what do. For example, read, write, execute, upload, and etc. So this one, we will all comment it out as we will not need this and put in something like this. So what is this? This is the same configuration as above, only with some few changes. This first line, we definitely need it if we want to connect from the Apple devices like iPhone or iPads. As you know, the Apple works in different ways with different policies, and etc. And of course, the user to ask us for the password. Once we have done the changes, we can just rest BD and check for status if it is up. As we can see, it is up and running. Now we can move to the next phase in connecting our newly created NAS storage and add it to FSTAB so that once our system boots up, it automatically gets connected. Let's do a quick update on our MDADM so that it remembers this configuration, and then we can add it to the FSTAB as well. So by exiting the following command, we are letting know MDADM that we have the RAID 1 array and its UID code so that it remembers that we have it. Once we have done that, we can now just update the configuration. So once it's updated, we can now actually check MDMD, and we can see that the array is added to the configuration file. So the MDMD will remember that this particular UID is our newly created RAID 1 array that is should show up once we reboot our system. Now, once we have done that, let's add our newly created RAID to FSTAB. So once the system boots, it automatically connects to our folder. Executing this command, you will get this information, the block size, types, blah, blah, blah. You just need to copy this UID and save it somewhere, as you will need to enter it. Let's go to our FSTAB. And at the end of it, let's add NAS array, and just let's add this particular information. Since I have changed the folder previously using ZimaNAS to NAS, then we can just change it and enter here the UID that we have copied. And save it. So once we have saved, everything is done, and we can move now to testing our NAS, if it works, and how great it works on the ZimaBlade. My network already recognizes CasaOS because my laptop is on the same network as the CasaOS, but we will anyhow go to our connect to the server tab. Let's remove this part and just enter NAS. So basically SMB semicom // casaos.local.nas. So let's connect. So let's connect with Walter's NAS, what we created, and let's type the password. And currently we have connected, but we don't have access. So we need to go back and re-execute the chown error, because I did with the wrong user. I did Walter's, what we were using, but we needed Walter's NAS, root, data, and our NAS. So once that's done, as you can see, the blockage has been gone. We can create new folders, test there, and we can also upload some files. Let me grab some file and we will upload it to see if it works and how fast it actually works. Let's upload the Ubuntu installation to our test there on our ZimaBlade NAS. And the upload started. 2.77 gigabytes. It shows that it will take less than a minute. Of course, these parameters sometimes change due to the network connectivity and also to the device read-write speed and NAS controllers. That's also a very important element to take in mind when you choose your NAS server. But anyhow, it is less than a minute to transfer to 2.77 gigabytes. Let's wait for it to end, as it should now quickly end. 5 seconds. And it's done. Let's go into our CasaOS web. Let's do a refresh. Files. Let's go to our NAS. And as you can see, here is our test directory. Let's go in and we see our Ubuntu image. Now, additional thing that I will also create a separate video for is to connect this NAS to Google Drive, OneDrive, or to some different NAS server for additional backups. This is basically our NAS. So let's reboot it and see if everything comes back online without any issues and we can work with our NAS straight away. Everything has come back online and we can log into our CasaOS. Go to our files, we can see our share is still sharing. And if we go in, here's our test dir and our file. So this is a proper way how to create a proper RAID 1 array NAS on a ZimaBlade. This video isn't sponsored by anybody, as I created purely out of my interest. This is a great solution when you also travel. Check out my other videos about ZimaBlade, and I will also be having some more experiments with the ZimaBlade, so don't forget to click the subscribe button. And also I will have several experiments with the Raspberry Pi and ZimaBoard, the ZimaBlade's brother. So I will also have several experiments with them. As you can see, the ZimaBoard I haven't unboxed yet, so there will be another video unboxing this interesting device as well and see what we can do, as I also have extension card to connect M2 drive to it, and we will do some tests as well. So thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, share it with people who might benefit from it or who would like to learn IT or would need this kind of solution at their apartment, home, or in the office. So see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.